I do believe that we are in a time that is calling for connection, community, sense of belonging. We live in a time where loneliness is at an all-time rise, an all-time high. We also live in a time where we are connected to one another more than ever before. But we're connected to one another through the internet, the interwebs. And so that is a great thing, man. How great is that? There's never been a time in history like this before where we can connect to people all over the world in an instant. That's powerful. That's really powerful, man. And the internet and social media, it's a good thing if we can use it correctly, if we can use it rightly. But it's a terrible thing if you get used by it, if you become the tool and get used by it rather than using it as a tool. And we all know this. And so what are we going to do about it, though? What are we going to do about it? Because here's what I propose for the future of connection. Right, again, what is great about this is that you can now find your tribe. You just have to, like, what kind of people are you watching on YouTube? What kind of forums are you going on? What kind of, people do you follow on social media? What is your tribe? What really speaks to you? What feels like a sense of belonging? And so it's like, there's so many different people with different interests out now, and it's a lot easier to find your tribe. Whereas without the internet before, things were harder, But here we are, man, in this age of digitality, digital liminality. So here's what I propose will be the future. Here's what I think is good, man. Like, step one, find your tribe online, on the internet. And then step two, find a way to meet these people in real life, because connection on the internet has never really resonated with me. I'm sure this is the same with everyone. It's never the same, man, connecting with someone online is not the same as connecting with someone face to face, in person. You can do stuff with, man. You can actually sense their energy in real time, and you can do activities, So online, you can message people. Okay, that's all right. You can call them, voice call. That's better. You can have a face-to-face conversation. That's even better. But that's really as far as you can go. So what I think is even better, of course, is to find a way to meet these people in real life. That's what social media should be here for. That's what this age of being so connected to one another should be here for. And it really shouldn't be for anything else. Because like I said, here we are, feeling so lonely. Don't leave me lonely so long. And we go on social media and we look at all these people doing all these things and we feel left out. In a sense, we're getting bombarded by too much socialness, you know. Too much of anything is too much for me. Too much of anything is too much. And it's an artificial fulfillment of our social needs. So something needs to change, man. Something needs to change. And we all know this. And so in the past, I really tried to get off social media. You know, blocking feeds, unfollowing people, just getting out of that, getting off the internet, getting off social media. Because I'm sure you know how fucking depressed and lonely it makes you. We all know this. Yet, again, like I said, this is a great opportunity that we've got here. This is something great that we've got here. We just need to use it in a way that's going to help us. And so this is just what I'm thinking about in the moment. And so, you know, I've got this online community, the Truth Playground. You can join up in the top link in the description. And this website that it's hosted on has a section at the top of the page titled Map. And you can go on the map and see where every other member is located in the world. It's not exact, you know, it's not like you're sharing your location exactly. It's more of like a rough estimate. So it's like, you know, people aren't going to fucking find you, but you know, you can see where you can see where your tribe is at in the world. And so you can, you know, come on the community and come message someone in your community that's close by. You could meet up, you know, anyone who watches these videos and joins up on this community obviously is like-minded to some extent, you know what I mean? And I know that anyone who watches these videos and that values these videos is probably has some tendency to be more of like a lone wolf, you know what I mean? Like probably is more introverted to some extent. But nevertheless, man, like we're all social creatures, and even if you're introverted, we all need that connection. And man, like life is so much more like magical when you have like a solid connection, when you have meaningful connections, meaningful interactions. Like, man, like this is what we're here for, you know? Like you connect with people, you share ideas, you just do shit together, random shit. You laugh, you know, you cry. You know, like yes, to some extent, like if you're all about this pursuit of enlightenment and whatever, then going at it alone is really necessary to a large extent. But socializing is important as well. You know, it's not like just because you're pursuing enlightenment doesn't mean you never need social interaction again. Like ultimately, like here we are, man, living life. What life do you want to live? Even if you're enlightened, like what life do you want to live? Enlightened or not, you still got to decide what life you want to live. Do you want to live a life of loneliness? Do you want to live a life of connection? And of course, maybe as an introvert, you don't need as much connection as the extrovert, but nevertheless, like, it's still fun, you know? I mean, you know it's fun, you know? As an introvert, you probably know that you've had a lot of fun in the past with, you know, your close friends, you know? And, you know, in the past, in my own experience, I would, you know, push away the social aspect of my life because, you know, I thought it was a distraction from pursuing the truth. And again, it certainly can be, but you have to be honest with yourself, is when is socializing a distraction for you, and when is when is pursuing socializing a distraction for you, and when is pursuing socialization let me re-say this. Yeah, like, when is socialization a distraction for you, but when is pushing away socializing actually coming from the fear of socializing? Because socializing is not always easy, man. It's awkward, you know. It's a bit it's awkward for everyone when you first get into it, but you know, it's fulfilling as well. But the other thing is that in the past, in my own experience, when I was pushing away socialization, you know, there were these two reasons. Like, well, I don't want to be distracted away from the path of enlightenment. The other one was like, well, I'm kind of scared to socialize, but also I'm afraid to admit that I'm scared to socialize. And the third one was that there just wasn't really anyone that I wanted to socialize with because I wasn't resonating with anybody. You know, of course, on some level, in some aspects, you can resonate with someone. I mean, we're all human, you know. You can relate to anybody, really, you know, because you all are human. You know, you all eat food and go to the toilet and experience the seasons changing. You can relate to any human, but to what extent, how deep do you want to go? And that's where the real fulfillment comes from, when you really go deep when you really find your like-minded tribe, you know. That's when socializing becomes fulfilling. So in the past, you know, it's like I didn't always find the people in my life where I could get that fulfilling, deeper, more meaningful connection. So that was the third thing. But again, like, here we are, man. If you're watching this video and you're resonating with this, then look at the subscriber count, look at the views, look at the comments, look at the likes. All these other people, man, are resonating with this too. All these other people is your tribe. If you really enjoyed this kind of content and just watching me, then I'm sure there are heaps of other people like this as well, man. Like, you're not the only one, dude. Like, I used to think like this. I used to think like, oh, I'm all alone, you know, I'm the only one that thinks like this. And this is, again, a kind of mechanism that the mind uses to deceive itself, because it's actually afraid of connecting with other people. You see, like, thinking like, oh, I'm alone, no one understands me, you know, there's no tribe for me. It's a survival mechanism because you're afraid to engage in social interaction. And it's a survival mechanism to, you know, keep your identity intact as this kind of like lone wolf, to keep your identity intact as this, you know, well, I'm more enlightened than other people kind of thing. You know, I had this in the past, man, but it's something you got to get over. Like, you got to grow past that, because it is, I think, a bit childish. And again, I'm not completely immune to this, you know, I'm not perfect. Sometimes that still happens to me. But ultimately, like, it's an illusion, man. It's a defense mechanism. It's a survival mechanism, because you're scared. You're afraid of socializing. So if you feel this, you know, be honest with yourself, you know. It's okay that it's there, man. You don't have to beat yourself up. It's okay that it's there, right? It's understandable that if you have that, it's understandable that it's there, yeah? But, you know, if you really want to have a more fulfilling life, socializing is important, and you have to find some kind of way that works for you. So again, man, like, top link in the description, like, come join, find some people that are in your area, you know, join up in real life, dude. Like, why not, dude? Why not? And you know, it's still in early days, this community, but, you know, I think it's much needed in today's age, especially for people that kind of watch these videos about, you know, enlightenment or whatever, because it's not a really common thing to talk about in your kind of local area. But I mean, if we just keep talking about it, it's going to become common. You know, like, be the change you want to see in the world. What kind of world do you want to live in? Well, it's going to come down to us, you and me, man. Like, it's happening, you know. You have the power. We have the power here. You know, you can't wait for someone else to change in the world, you know. And as scary as it may be to take responsibility to be the change you want to see in the world, what else are you going to do, man? Are you just going to sit and, like, blame the world and take this victim mentality? Like, yeah, it's fucking hard, sure, to keep at it, to be, like, a leader. But you don't have any other option, man. Like, yes, there's suffering in trying to be a leader and take responsibility for your life. But there's a lot of more suffering. There's a worse kind of suffering than to just give up and to just fall into that victim mentality, right? Because that's, like, really depressing. It's really depressing, falling into the victim mentality and self-pity and all that. Whereas the other suffering, where you actively take a responsibility and a leadership role, that suffering is suffering that, when you work with it and overcome it, builds you up and makes things better, right? It's a different kind of suffering you experience, but it's actually something that is like forcing you to grow, right? You know, like, me doing these videos, me starting up this online community, me just putting myself out there more, there's suffering with that. I've been feeling more anxiety and stuff, because it's like I'm showing up, I'm showing my vulnerability to the world. I'm trying to actively grow this channel. I'm trying to build something here, right? You know, I'm getting more into the spotlight, you know, and just showing to the world, like, well, this is who I am, you know, and, you know, take it or leave it, you know, and a lot of people aren't going to fucking like what I have to offer. A lot of people aren't going to like it. And that's a scary thing, you know, that's anxiety inducing. But again, like, this is what needs to be done. And I'm going to, by going in this direction, I'm going to learn how to, I'm learning how to be my unapologetic self, which is what we all really want, man. We all just want to be our authentic selves and not give a shit what other people think, right? We don't want to conform. And so, yes, it takes some anxiety and takes suffering to start to just be our authentic self and not care what other people think of that. But by taking that path, we become more tolerant and resilient towards criticism, and we learn how to deal with it. It's it's kind of skill that we're learning, and it's a great skill to learn, even though it's painful to try and learn it, you know. But like any skill that you try and learn, it does take a lot of patience and persistence and consistency, and a lot of trial and error, and a lot of frustration and confusion and all that, you know. But again, like, there's no really other alternative other than to just get depressed and fall into a victim mentality, you know. Like, you are not meant to leave society, you are meant to lead it, right? If you see society as not the way that you want it to be, you see the bullshit within it, then what good is leaving it going to do? Yeah, maybe you need to leave it for a period of time in different chapters of your life. You leave it to, you know, really get away from that toxicity and to kind of come back to yourself, you know. But you can't leave it forever. You've got to come back into the world and then lead it. Because again, if you see the bullshit in the world, then obviously you have some kind of wisdom and love and truth within you. You have some kind of discernment within you that is going to serve society in a better direction. And this is not about trying to be a dictator or a tyrant, but it's just like, if you tune in with yourself and you know that you have some truth and love and wisdom within you that you're not seeing around you, that you think that, well, if I brought in this energy into the world and spread it out more, things would be better. If you have this kind of intuition, that what you hold within yourself is of purity and goodness. And, you know, you bring that into the world. Like, it's a good thing, man. And you have to take that leadership role. And, like, whatever is authentic for you in that leadership role. Like, you know, you don't have to be this kind of stereotype of a leader, but, you know, whatever feels right. For me, you know, I'm just making these videos, you know. This is kind of my way of leading, you know. And ultimately, the best kind of way of leading is just leading by example, just being the change you want to see in the world. And staying true to that, sticking with that. So yeah, man, use the internet for your own good. Use it for good. Don't let it use you. And so, yeah, come join our online community, the Truth Playground. Top link in the description. Come engage with us. Let's make this shit happen, dude. Yeah? All right. Peace. Come check out my new book as well. I've written a new book. The link is in the description too. So I will see you in the next one. Peace out.